meters. Secondly, we want to work to 2 decimal places, so I'm just going to click on the drop down menu here and choose 2 decimal places. In our area, we want it to be square meters. In our volume, cubic meters. So that's all okay. We click OK. The next thing we want to be able to do is to be able to set our dimension units. It means the units we are going to dimension with. To be able to do that, we'll click on options, we come to project preferences, and we choose dimensions. On dimensions, we want to make sure that our units are set to meters and our decimals to 2 decimal places. And if that is all set, then we can click our OK. The next step in this project is to be able to import our surveyor's data into ArchiCAD. That's the plot size, so that we can be able to do our conception within the plot size. In the beginning of this video, our client sent us our surveyor data, which was something like this as he sent. And this plot is in Bamenda. They have the roads that connect. The plot is located at A. And on A, these are the dimensions of the plot. So the surveyor has given our data. He has given our points. So this plot just has 4 points: P1, P2, P3, P4. And we have the X coordinates and the Y coordinates. So now we are just going to put it in a Word document and import it into ArchiCAD. So to be able to do that, we will navigate to our desktop and right click and move to new, then move to new and choose text document. Type there surveyor's data, which are our coordinates that I want to copy and put inside. Click on the surveyor's data, and on the other side of the screen you can put the surveyor's coordinates. So now we are just going to type in these coordinates into this text document. So the first coordinate is 63, 91, 36.27, and we put a space bar and we type for y-axis 66, 39, 27.735. Now there are some little corrections we have to do. On the y coordinate we have 3 decimal places, and on the x we have 2. So we are just going to add 0 at the end, and the surveyor didn't give the z axis, so we are just going to put a space bar and type in 9 figures. That's 9 figures of 000, so that we take all the same plane. So we type 000 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 figures typed in. And another thing, ArchiCAD does not recognize a decimal point on surveyor's data, so we have to remove the decimal points here. We are going to repeat this procedure. We'll copy P2, P3, P4. So in copying P2, feel free to pause the video and copy the points into your text document. After doing this, you navigate to File and you save this document. Now we navigate back to our ArchiCAD, and on ArchiCAD, let's import our surveyor data. Navigate to File, navigate to Interoperability, and place Mesh from surveyor's data. So we click here and we place the mesh. Remember, we saved it in desktop as surveyor's data, so we just click on the folder, press open. So they were arranged in millimeters, so it can come in ArchiCAD as in meters. So you click OK. Now the surveyor's data has been given, so we just look for a good place and place it where you feel as it's good as possible. So here is the plot size. Okay, so we have inputted the surveyor's data and we have this as our plot, which is similar to what we have here out. The next thing we have to do is to be able to trace out this plot. So we'll use a polyline, we'll move to one edge of the plot, and from there we can trace out the full plot. So just click on the edges of the plot, and we have it this way. Another thing is we can also move this knot elevation, so you can just click anywhere and move these knot elevations upward. Can move them upward to somewhere here so it doesn't disturb. We can move them down so it doesn't disturb us working. We can delete the plot since we have already traced out. Remember, we set our units earlier, so we just have to verify the dimensions. It will be in meters, so that's what we're expecting. So as you can see, our plot is 27.60, and here we have 21.21, and we can equally verify from this side. We have 27.57, and here Control A, delete. So now here is our plot, and we know that our road comes in from this side. So probably we would like to position our building on this area. Since we have the surveyor's data, we make a copy of the plot, and to be able to do that, we click on the polyline and right click, get to the move command, drag a copy. So we can just drag a copy and keep outside. For us to be able to do this conception easily, we are going to rotate the plot to be in an easy form that we can work in. So we click on the polyline, right click, and we will rotate the plot. So we can just click here and rotate it so we can have something like this. We can rotate to 62 degrees. Then we copy and we place inside. So I have something like this. This is the area where the road comes into the building. So probably we are going to place our building this way, but we are going to do our conception within this area and place our building later. To begin with our conception, we will move to design and click on walls. And on the model, it asks us to be able to choose the color of the wall. Preferably, I like the ArchiCAD default, so I'm just going to select the ArchiCAD default and move to geometry and positioning. Under geometry and positioning, I'll choose the basic wall, and the dimensions of our wall are 15 centimeters, which is 0.15 meters. And there we are going to click OK. The next thing we want to do is to make sure that we have set our story height. So on ground floor, we'll navigate down to story settings. I'll make sure that our stories are set to 3 meters. So here, ArchiCAD has already set it basic to 3 meters. If you like, you can type in 3.02, but I'll prefer to put it at 3 meters. So if you put 3.2 here, you're going to see that our floor heights are going to change. But now we want to put it at 3 meters, so we just allow it at 3 meters. You press OK, and make sure your project is at ground floor. So make sure you verify that it's at ground floor so that we can do our conception. At the start of this project, our client gets his description, which is parlor, dining, kitchen, visitor's room, and a toilet, which the strangers can use and the visitor their house can use. To do a good conception for a good residential layout, from the parlor, we should be able to access our dining, and from the dining, we should be able to access our kitchen, and the kitchen should have a veranda for it. So that's how we are going to do our conception. To do that, we are going to click on walls. Remember, we already set our walls to 0.15, so you can just click OK. You click on walls, you choose your first point, and you type in 5 meters. On the length of the parlor, we use 6 meters. I would like to extend a little bit here by 0.5 so we can put our staircase there. 0.5, so we put our staircase. Then come up here and choose outside face, so your wall should face outside. And I usually like my staircase to be 2.5 meters, so wall included will be 2.65. And I can trace this part up here. I want that below my staircase, I should have a room. Probably I want the room to be 3.75. I want the length of the room to be at most 4.15 meters. So I can trace out the room from this side. Click on it. So I'm going to click on one of the walls and press shift and click on the other one. Then I'm going to use my reshape command and intersect. Now we have a room. Now remember, the client said we should have a visitor's room and a visitor's toilet. So we are going to put a stranger's toilet beside the visitor's room. I'm just going to type in 1.35 so we can extend this wall this way. The next thing after the visitor's toilet, so this is the parlor, here's the staircase, then we have the visitor's toilet. So another thing we want to do is that we want to bring out the wall of the parlor. So I'll use the inside face. The parlor, I want the parlor to align with the staircase, so I have something like this. Remember, we want a parlor dining, so this is the parlor. We want a dining to be beside the parlor, so we can just put the dining to be something like 3.65. We want a veranda for the parlor, so probably we'll put it at the level of the dining. So I can click this line and drag a copy. So I can just drag like let me say 2 meters and extend to the side of the parlor. Then I can trim off the 2 parts. Here we have a dining, and remember we said after the dining we should have a kitchen. So preferably I want the wall of this staircase to join with this other wall. So I'll come to edit, move down to reshape and intersect. So probably I have the dining here, I want the kitchen to go below, so I'll drag a copy here I usually want my kitchen to be large, so I want my kitchen to be about 4 meters 50. So I want my kitchen to be this large so I can trim out this other parts. I can join the kitchen by clicking on this wall and this wall too. So here we'll use edit and intersect. I have my kitchen wall. I'm going to extend this one this way. And probably I'm seeing that this wall and this wall, they are two and they are not aligned. I'll prefer to align the walls, so I can shift the wall by 0.35 to align with the wall of the parlor. I'll probably want to equally join these two, so I'm going to take reshape and intersect. Now I want my dining to equally increase by 0.35 since the parlor has equally increased by 0.35, and I would like to intersect. Come to edit, reshape, intersect, then I can fill in these spaces. So we have our parlor, dining, kitchen, we have our strangers room, and probably here we should have our toilet. So let's drag a wall for the toilet. I click on the wall, right click, drag a copy, then I can drag a copy of, I type in 2.65 to have plus wall thickness, that's 250. So according to the client, he wanted a parlor, dining, kitchen, a visitor's room and a stranger's toilet. So I think that conception is good. Now we can equally try to arrange our wall. So we want our wall, we want our staircase to end here. So probably we want to cut off this part. So this will be our stair area. We'll have a parlor, dining, kitchen, visitor's room, toilet, and this part we can use it for veranda. We can use this part for veranda. We can use this other part for veranda, and in front of the house we can equally use this part for veranda. So that's the concept for the ground floor. Now we have to navigate to the first floor and try to do a concept following this. So go to the ground floor here and right click and move to the first story, and let's try to trace from below. Trace reference from below to our ground story and copy all our walls that we have done for our ground story. So to copy the walls, we can just left click and hover over the drawing, right click and put copy. Then we'll move to first story and right click and paste. So that's what we have now. So our staircase, we want it to climb like this and land here. So when it lands here, we want 2 rooms to share 1 toilet. So we'll use the kitchen and another extra room to share this toilet, and here we just want to extend so it can be our master room. So this side is our master section, and remember our master section has a toilet, a closet. So we want our staircase to climb this way and land here. So when it lands here, we want this stranger room will become one of the rooms, and this kitchen will become one of the rooms too. Then we want our master room to be this way, and here we will have our dressing and our toilet. So to be able to do that, we'll click this wall here and we'll copy it by 1.95 so that we can have a dressing of at least 1.80. So preferably I would like to add the 0.05 to the dressing, so I'll click the wall and type 0.05 to add to the dressing, so that our toilet can be 2 meters and our dressing 180. Toilet can be 2 meters and our dressing 185. So now we have the concept of our client. Remember, on the ground floor, the client wanted these descriptions, and on the first story, our client wanted this description. So we have come out with a concept that is good for our client at his budget, a building for a small family, and he didn't want it to be costly. So the next thing to do is for us to be able to dimension the interior parts and see how it goes. By dimension the interior part, we come to documents and click on dimensions. We just want to verify that the dimensions are okay. So for our parlor, we have 5.35 by 6 meters. For our rooms, we have 350 by 4 meters. For the kitchen, we have 350 by 435. In toilet, we have 120. Let's try to put our dimensions on the toilet to make sure it's okay. So we have 250 by 120, which is all not bad. We equally have our rooms, which are 360 by 4 meters. Our staircase, which is 480 by 250. And by even the first story, we are going to have our rooms here, which will follow the same pattern. So I think we have come out with a draft in which can be able to serve for our client. Next aspect of the building is that we have to place the staircase. We'll need to draw a staircase which will be able to navigate us from ground floor to first floor. And to be able to do that, we will use a line tool under the document. We use a line tool here to be able to do that. So the first thing is that our landing is 120. So we're just going to draw a line behind the landing here. Type in 120. Press enter. I will form the landing. Then equally from here, we will want our staircase to go in by 0.5. So probably we will click on the stair tool and set our width of our staircase. Our width of our staircase is 120. Make sure our risers are 0.15, which is okay. You click OK. Then we start drawing our staircase. So we start from here. We can notice that there are railings here. So we want to draw our railings, and it's very important to have a railing while climbing a stair. When we arrive at the place of 120 here, we'll change and use the landing tool. We'll turn back here and here. Then we'll continue our staircase from here right up to where we have 50. And from there, we are just going to click OK. And we'll have our staircase that has been made with the landing there. The next thing we want to do in this structure is for us to be able to put our doors. So to be able to do that, we go to design, and you can always arrange this by dragging in or dragging out so that you can easily walk. So we are going to choose the door command. So go to hinge doors, because you see different type of doors here. Go to hinge doors, and you're going to choose metal door 27. When you click on that, you are going to see this is going to pop up. So we want to choose our door design. I prefer this kind of door for the entrance. And what our handles, we need the doors to have handles. There, we are just going to go ahead. Uniform handles, we want our handles to be uniform. And 3D projection here, I like to use override model view options and close the opening line so we don't see it. So I'm just going to put this door here as our opening door to enter the house. So we're just going to put the door, and the door should open outside so that if there's a fire accident inside the house, you can easily run outside. We have just one big door that enters into the house. So we want to have the same door on the first story. So we go to the first story and place the same door. So we have the same door. We can navigate back to ground story. The next thing we want to put is door 90s for our project. So we are going to click on doors and hinge doors. We are not going to use metal doors now. Now we are going to use single metal doors. So we click on single metal doors, and doors inside the house, I used to like it to be closed and viewed just from top. So we choose these handles. We use handle 7. That's the best I've been using. And we want to override model view options and close opening lines. So we will place the doors where we want. So for the dining, we'll have an opening here, so no need for a door. For the kitchen, we want the kitchen door to open from this way. For the toilet, we want the toilet door to open from this way. For this room above here, we want the door to open this way. So we have all our doors for our project set. We can go to the first story and repeat the same. Probably we need a door to enter the master's room, so we have a door like this. And we need a door to enter this other room. Remember, the staircase comes this way, so you land and you have this area. It's good for the door to be either below here or above here. So preferably, I want the door to be here to open down this way. The toilet door, I want it to equally open this way, and that for this other room, I want it to open this way. And for the toilet, open into the toilet this way. With that said, we want to put openings. Yeah, we need openings for this project. We're going to move to doors, and we are going to use doors with empty openings. So I like square openings, so I'm just going to choose on square openings. And preview and positioning, I like it to start from 0, 0. So I click 0, 0. I want the height of the opening to be 2.60, and I click on it, then I press OK. Now when I come down to the dining, I can just open the dining, click and open. So I can enlarge the opening to be up to this level, and I can only click here and enlarge the opening right up to this level. So from the parlor, we just have a direct opening. So we have parlor, from parlor we have dining, from dining we have kitchen. Then from the parlor, if a stranger visits, you can use this toilet. Then the visitor's room, so if the visitor wants to bathe, you can use this toilet according to the client description. Now when we move to the first story, you're going to climb this staircase, and you arrive on the first story. On the first story, where you land, we have one room here, 2 rooms sharing one toilet as described by the client. Then we have the master bedroom with the balcony, and what we have to put now is an opening here. So we still need an opening, so we'll click on doors, and we can put an opening here between the master room and the dressing. So we can just make it to go a little bit like 1.5 from this side. Yes. First thing we have to do is to put windows in this building. To be able to put windows, you go back to your ground story. You click on Windows Store, and I prefer to use the double window here to place, and I go to preview and positioning. I want the windows height to be 1.10. I want the width of the window to be 150, and I want the C height to be 1 meter from here. I love the window to open from here. For the staircase, I would like the window to be at you come down here from the seal story. I want the staircase, I want it to be above the landing, so you are going to type in 1.60. And the height of the staircase, more preferably 1 meter, 1.0, and I put it at the center of the staircase, which is here. For the parlor, I like the parlor window to extend to the next story. So for the parlor window, I want it to start from seal height 0.50. I want the window height to be 5 meters, and for the width to be 2.0. So I want to put the parlor window, I want it to be centered and to run right up to the last floor. And on the windows for the dining, I prefer to use smaller windows. So I'm going to click on window tool, come down to window 27 here, and we are going to set the height of the window to be 2.60, which starts from seal height 0, and the width of the window to be 0.50. One small long narrow windows here. So we are just going to position one and try to drag the rest to follow it. So we can position one like here. Then I'm going to drag it to 0.5, then copy the same window, right click, drag a copy for the window, copy in 1 meter, right click, drag a copy, copy in 1.5 meters, and we have the windows like this. So probably I want this to come back 0.5, it's too far, yeah. So probably we'll have this kind of windows. So with that said, we can go to the first story and repeat the same algorithm. For windows, we can click on windows, and the last window that we use were the smaller windows. So I can do the same thing. You click on the window, drag it here, and type in 0.50. I can drag multiple copies. I'll type in 1 meter. And I'm going to type in 1.5 meters, 1 meter and 0.5. So we are going to have the windows the same. For the parlor, we already have the parlor window being placed. For the staircase, we can position for the staircase. Remember, on the staircase we use this window, so we are just going to use it back. Type in the height of the window is 1.10, seal height 1 meter, width of the window 1.5. So we can just click OK, place this window at the center of the staircase. This other window, we want it to be at this edge. That of this room, we want it to be here. Now the next thing is to put the windows of the toilet. The windows of the toilet, the C height for the windows of the toilet, we put 1.50. The windows are 0.6 by 0.60. So we can place the windows of the toilet here for this toilet, and below here we can place the window here. When we navigate to the ground story and do the same, place the window here. The next thing to do after placing windows is for us to place our slab in our building. So we want to put our slab for our ground floor. Double click on slab. We choose the normal slab here, and we come to floor settings. We click the normal slab here and we put the slab thickness. So the slab thickness that I want to use is 0.05. Press OK. I just want to fill it on the area of the plot. So when it forms a rectangle here, I need to choose this other one so it can give me variable geometry. So I just want to fill a slab in the whole of the plot. I press enter. Okay, we can proceed to putting slabs on the first floor decking. And on the decking, the slab thickness we'll use is 20 centimeters. So you can navigate to your slab tool and double click. You can set your slab to 0.2 and click OK. Now you can just trace around the building. Remember, here we have a kitchen veranda, so extend the slab. Press OK. Here we have drawn our slab. The next thing, house, let's put a door to a position outside of the house. So we click door and we click door and we place the hinge door of 90. Place it outside of the house. We are going to model our balcony, and to be able to do that, we click on walls. Then we draw a wall in front of the balcony. We just need to highlight one edge and have something like this. And we repeat the same thing for the first story. To be able to model our verandas, we want to make it to reflect something unique about the person who owns the building. So we like to model it to reflect the client's first name, and the client's first name starts with the letter S. So to be able to do that, I'm going to navigate to 3D and look for where we have openings. And on the openings, I'm going to put our openings to be 2.60, and I'll just have to look for a place and place it here. I'll orbit by pressing O, and I'll now activate orbit. I'll try to look for a place to arrange the circle to be at the start of the wall. Then here I equally want it to start from the slab below. To move to openings, and I'm going to use a rectangular opening of 2.60. I'm just going to click it here and I'll try to fit it in. Okay, so we are going to see that we'll have errors here. The circle and the orbit, they are not matching well, so I have to click on the rectangle and try to reduce it. Reduce it to like here where the circle ends. I equally want this to be 2.60 so it matches the circle above. And on the first story, we are going to redraw the S. So I'm just going to activate the opening tool and choose O, which is 2.6, and try to place O this way. I'm going to have something like this, and I'm going to drag and adjust it to fit the wall. And I want it to start where the slab begins below. So I want it to start here, and I'm going to fit the rectangle like this. So equally, I'm going to drag the rectangle to start where the circle to be at the center of the circle. So here, probably something like this. And as you can see, we have an S shape which reflects the name of the client. The next thing we'll look at is we'll try to put an opening in the balcony here above. So we'll click on openings, and for rectangular openings we are still going to put the same. For the height, I'm going to type in 2.6. And we'll have something like this. So I just love to arrange the rectangle to start from below 261 and put it at 260, so it flushes with the slab. We like to increase the beauty, sending light into the veranda of the parlor from the side, and to be able to do that, we are going to click on openings, and we are going to use rectangular openings. We are going to disengage this and make sure it's this way. We are going to set the height of the opening to 2.60, and the openings we are going to use 20 centimeters. We are just going to place the openings this way. I'm going to put this one this way. We'll try to set it. To be able to multiply it, we can drag multiple copies. So we drag multiple copies. We can type in 0.4. The next one we can type 0.8. We can type 1.2. And we can type 1.6. We can navigate back to 3D and see how it looks like. So we'll have something like this, which makes the beauty astonishing. How we can put our balconies on this building. So we will navigate back to ground floor. I'm going to click on railings, and we are going to click here above to choose the kind of railings. I'll prefer the glass panel railing segment, and we'll just move to segments here. I'll prefer to use equal spacing, the first one here. So I'm just going to put in the balcony by clicking. I'll go to the first story and repeat the same thing. I'm going to just put in the balcony. Then here we have to extend this so it touches this part. Another key thing we want to do is to be able to put our railings on the balcony behind. So I'm just going to type in railing and try to put it on the balcony behind. Then we can navigate back to ground story and do the same thing. So we can go to 3D and view what we have just done and the balcony behind. Let's have a 3D look at our buildings, and we can look from top to see what we have. Now we can discover that the staircase opening isn't visible, so we can go to first story and click on the slab on the first story and try to extract the slab. So we can click this way and use subtract here, and from there we can just draw a rectangle. We can use this and draw a rectangle so that we can cut out the slab area. So we can navigate back to 3D to see what we have done. Go to 3D, click O and rotate. So now we see that our staircase, we can climb up our staircase and land on the first story. I think that is left for this project is the roof of the project, and we are not going to use parapet because of the cost of the project. So we are going to keep the cost low by using just a roof. So to be able to do that, we go to our first story, and we are going to choose a slab which we are going to use for the ceiling of the building. So the slab, we are going to set the slab at 0.015, which is 1.5 centimeters, and we are going to use it for the ceiling. So we'll just start drawing from this edge. .2 in front, and we can form it this way. We are going to offset our ceiling to 0.05. So we click on one angle here, we activate offset, and we are going to offset 0.5. Then we are going to choose our roof. So for the roof we use for this project, we want for geometry and positioning, we set the roof. I like this basic roof, and I like the roof to be sharp. I want the angle to be 30 degrees, and we want multidisciplinary. I want the offset to be 0. Floor section model, I would like to use the ArchiCAD default. Click OK. Then I'm just going to trace around the ceiling. So I have actually inputted my roof. To be able to see it, I have to move to second story, and that's the roof. Another key thing, we want to verify if our ceiling is actually on at 3 meters. So click here. We're supposed to put in 3 meters, so it touches the roof. So we move to 3D to be able to view. So on 3D, as you can see, we have our roof and our ceiling. Our roof is put at angle 30, and we could change it to 35 so that it looks a little bit better, though more costly. Yeah, so we can allow it at 35. We equally put furnitures in the building. So we go to, on the dining, we are going to move to objects, and we'll just type their tables to use for our dining. So we are going to look for tables for the dining. So probably I want to use this, and I'll just place it on my dining, and make sure that I set this to 0 so that my dining starts on the ground floor at 0. So I like my TV to stand this way, so we'll just go to objects, and I can type here TV, and I'll get a TV, and I want a wall TV, so I can place it here and probably rotate it. So I can place it on the wall, and I want the table to be at the height 1 meter. So for the parlor, we are going to put in the furniture. So we click on objects, type in sofa. And for the sofas, I prefer this, and I like it when it's long. So you can click this. I'll set its floor height to 0, and I like the chairs to be 220. So I'll click OK and place the first one. I equally want the chair to be, I want 3 of them to be in the parlor, so I'm just going to rotate this. Click on rotate, and rotate this way. Then I can just drag and place. Feel free to place the objects the way you want.
And we'll have something like this. Then we equally need a central table for the parlor, so I'm just going to type in table.
So I'm going to use this. Okay, and we'll place the table here. Try to centralize it a little bit. Another thing, we want to put the objects for the bedroom. Preferably, I'm going to use going to type in here bed, and I like this bed, and I'll place it this way. I equally want a wardrobe, and so I'm going to click on objects, type wardrobe, and I like using this one. So I'm going to put my wardrobe. I like the length of the wardrobe to be 2.1 meter height, and I like it this way to be 2.50. I like the width of the cupboard to be 0.6. So I'm just going to click this and rotate. Click here and rotate, and I'm going to place my cupboard at this edge. For the kitchen, we'll need things like the kitchen sink, so I'm just going to put in the sink here. This project, we are going to use this kind of sink and we'll place it beside the window. Another kind of objects we are going to find in our kitchen are things like the gas, so you tap the gas plate and press OK. So you are just going to place a glass plate somewhere here, and we are going to copy this to use on the first story, and we equally need one sofa to use on the first story. So I'm just going to put copy, and we are going to move to the first story, and I'm going to paste this. So we already have this room sorted out. So probably I'll just go to the ground floor and click on objects, type in the toilet. I want to use this, so just click OK and paste this way so we can mirror a copy. Mirror. And arrange it this way. Then I copy and move it to the first story and repeat the same procedure. Paste. OK. Then I copy the toilet, drag a copy and to the master's toilet, and I'll rotate and place this way. Remember, all these things can still be modified, so we are just getting a proposal for our client. We need a master bed, so we are going to drag a copy from here, and probably I would like to position the bed this way. Rotate the copy, and something this way. So one of the things we would love to do is to arrange our coach well, and we click O, then we can get through the main door. We are going to see the dining, get through the main door. Okay, so we'll get a 3D view into our building. So when you get here, you can get into the parlor, where you see the chairs. You get to the parlor, you see the chairs. Then we can rotate and look at the dining. Ooh, let's go to ground story and let's just get a view of this. So you select every object, you go to show, select in 3D, show selection in 3D. So you are going to see the house this way. So we have the parlor, the dining, the kitchen, the toilet, and the stranger's bedroom. So we're going to have this. We go to show selection in 3D. So it's going to show the floor above without the slab. So probably we'll just remove the slab for now and feed it later. So we have here, we have the master bedroom with its TV. We have the dressing. We have the toilet. Here we have the two strangers' rooms sharing one toilet, and we have a balcony for them. So that's probably what it is. Type Ctrl Z so that your slab can get back, and you go back to story settings. What we want to look at is our elevations. To be able to get our elevations, we move this way to elevations, and we are going to see that we'll have our elevations automatically generated by ArchiCAD. This is our north elevation, which is this. We have our south elevation, which is this, and we have our west elevation, which is this. So we have all our elevations all set. For us to be able to see a section, we have to draw a section line. So probably we'll come to viewpoints. I will click section, and we can draw a section throughout any part of this building. So if I want to draw a section, I can cut this line. Here's the section, and I can equally get another section this way. So I'll just move to sections here and click the drop down menu. S01 will show the section. So as you can see, this is our section showing our staircase as we are going up, and S02, this is another section of the building. So this is our architectural sections. Roof plan, we just need to go to the second story. In the next section of this project, we are going to talk on our structural analysis, where we are going to position our pillar, our beams, and come out with a formwork plan and be able to input it into Autodesk's raw board and do the structural calculation. If you did enjoy this content, please make sure you like and subscribe so that the video can reach out to more people and help more people. Any worries and questions, you can leave them down in the comment section. I'll be there to reply you. See you.